working with the committee. And then for the folks on the call, let's go to item 2, recognizing guests and visiting officials. Could we have folks on the call introduce themselves?
Yeah, Ashananda and Health Community members. This is Tommy Sosi from Office of the Speaker on the line.
Good morning, Honorable Chair and members of HES Committee. This is Leah Kharvachni Henderson with OLC present. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, and committee members. This is Michelle Begay-Nakai from Department of Justice Online. Shade Twidditch English Law. Good morning.
Anybody else? Thank you for introductions, all legislative staff, and these are from Department of Justice. Che Tendikin from and this is Kachini, but this Chini. This isn't this Che do no Haban. That's another. But to be Chini, this is the natural Asia days and doing the Taylor, anybody else on the call? Do we have Mr. Wayne Claw on the call? Okay, let's proceed. Miss Angelita Benali, could you review the proposed agenda with the committee and with the folks on the call?
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the Health, Education, and Human Services Committee. Just for your information, Mr. Chair, Mr. Wayne Claw was on the Zoom call earlier this morning, but however, I don't see his line on there. Mr. Chair and members of the Health, Education, and Human Services Committee, you have your proposed agenda. The Health, Education, and Human Services Committee, 24th Navajo Nation Council, regular meeting, August 31st, 2022, 8 a.m. Presiding, the Honorable Daniel E. Tho, Chairperson, and the Honorable Carl R. Slater, Vice Chairperson. Place is via telecommunications, Window Rock, Navajo Nation, Arizona. 1, call meeting to order, roll call, invocation, announcements. 2, recognize guests and visiting officials. 3, review and adopt the agenda. 4, review and adopt the journals. 5, receiving reports. A is the Navajo Land Nursing Home Incorporated. And it's a report regarding the Navajo Nation health orders regarding COVID-19, subvariants, and other viruses. The Navajo public, the other issue is the Navajo public and visitors compliance. The third is the required adherence in medical facilities and 24-hour care facilities. The fourth is to enforce the enforcement of Navajo Nation health orders. The fifth is a memorandum to the following from the Health, Education, and Human Services Chairman, and memorandums and informational memorandums to Chiquita Brooks LaShore, Administrator with the Department of Health and Human Services, Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. And the address is in Baltimore, Maryland. Also in Baltimore, Maryland is Dr. Aditi Malik, MD, Chief Medical Officer, as well as Kitty Marks, Director for CMCS Division of Tribal Affairs. Also included is the IHS headquarters, Indian Health Services Office of the Director in Rockville, Maryland. Presenters for this report are Mr. Wayne Claw, Director for Navajo Land Nursing Homes Incorporated, Dr. Jill Jim, Executive Director for Navajo Department of Health, Loya Henderson, Attorney, Office of Legislative Counsel, Dana Bobroff, Chief Legislative Counsel, Office of Legislative Counsel, Michelle Begay-Nakai, Attorney for the Navajo Department of Justice. 6 new business, 7 old business, 8 close of meeting, announcements, and adjournment. Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Benali. Committee members, what are your wishes on this agenda? The proposed agenda, read into the record.
Chair, Delegate Paul Begay, motions to adopt the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, second. Honorable Paul Begay. We have a motion by Honorable Paul Begay and a second by Honorable Vice Chair Carl Slater. Do we have any additions to the motion's agenda?
Shouldn't I? This is Wayne. I'm online.
Oh, great.
We have all kind of problems with our lines over here, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, those fiber optics, we really need them. Committee members, if there's no other comment or request for additions or amendments, Ms. Chi, could you provide the roll call vote on this agenda?
Chair, roll call vote for today's agenda. Honorable Paul Begay, how do you vote?
Delegate Paul Begay votes green.
Honorable Paul Begay votes green. Honorable Pernell Haluna, how do you vote?
Haluna votes green.
Honorable Pernell Haluna votes green. Honorable Carl R. Slater, how do you vote?
Green.
Honorable Carl R. Slater votes green. Honorable Charlene So, how do you vote? Honorable Edison J. Winika, how do you vote? Chair, you have 3 in favor, 0 opposed, and Chair not voting.
Mr. Chair, we cannot hear you.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Ms. Chi, for the roll call vote, and then Ms. Benali, review with the committee the next item on the agenda.
Mr. Chair, the Next item after number 3, reviewing and adopting the agenda, which the committee did. Number 4 is review and adopt the journals. There's none. 5 is a report. A is a Navajo Nursing Home Incorporated. And it's regarding Mr. Wayne Claw having given a report on Monday to the Health, Education, and Human Services Committee. And the committee is following up on that concern. And it's regarding the Navajo Nation health orders regarding the COVID-19, as well as its subvariants and other viruses, as well as the regard to the Navajo public and visitors compliance. Also, the required adherence to medical facilities and 24-hour care facilities. Also, the enforcement of Navajo Nation health orders, as well as memorandums to the following from the Health, Education, and Human Services Committee Chairman to the Department of Health and Human Services in Baltimore, Maryland, as well as to IHS headquarters, Indian Health Services in Rockville, Maryland. The presenters are Mr. Wayne Claw, Director of Navajo Land Nursing Home. Also Dr. Jill Jim, Executive Director of the Navajo Department of Health. Loya Henderson, Attorney for the Office of Legislative Services. Dana Bobroff, Chief Legislative Counsel, Office of Legislative Services. Michelle Begay-Nakai, Attorney for the Navajo Department of Justice. Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Benali. So let's start with Mr. Wayne Claw Tele, for the benefit of, make the presentation as brief as you can, but to the point, so that we can proceed with items that we feel like our staff has put together and other folks. Mr. Wayne Claw, you have the teleconference floor.
Akoshi, can you hear me again?
Oh, Khadita.
Akoshina, here Shinado, here Doshinan for listening. Ebik Ayat, Beneto, Paul, ahead, Suzanne Light on Johnny, Nikiroda, the deep in the teaching, Hadani, Shishan Taiko. Ahead, Nikana Jai, thanks for your help. One of our concerns, back in the 70s, Navajo Nation, though, CMS, Center for Medicare and Medicaid, got it, to have assisted living and long-term care. 1958, 1968, Shinson. But is this Konal Sosidon Hidat and Deja, the Department of Justice in Deja, Basil. To a just got it on the Ako Halit Abana Nishto Do. Once the development of assisted living and nursing homes, long-term care, Halit Aban Bessendale, so do Ilibendale, so Jot Ashit it Ako JAD Stranger Chill in Hikojot Ako D that Center for Medicaid Medicare with it, Nini Hinaway San Francisco, then Hanaka, Kailha survey in that. One of the things I don't misunderstand is that the survey is good. The HIPAA regulation, a lot of it, part of it is good. There's a majority of it in that HIPAA regulation doesn't comply, a lot of it, to Navajos, reservation, tribes, their nursing home, and just to reference some things, traditional, cultural, in-house policy, I call this survey every year in Hanaka. I call Johnny 2020 yata 80 COVID-19 yaitni. I call Nishid has Aniki Nihi Masando ni Che Ados like Yego at Zada during that time. Yego Conerston Leniki is the Kabadi Nini Kojenda Lishiki Yahalia Benia Yegot Ados like Hiaisni the IEC. Ojes reappointment Nada Kata Isa Hotat Zan the Yat Enda Sling. The Falzo Ya and the latest thing don't have a Laho, the Ray Winslow, you hit the Never Epstein nursing home be it. Though on the Ray surrounding reservation, nursing homes, oh, Epstein. A call She Yobahashni. But quite did it, that Lishigi nurse and Lenny licensed nurse to employees at the Juno Itan Shifaz every day compass Tato Yobahashni, Sanitos Quick and Lishigi in Juno Yahalia. For Ashi Nisa it out of Nedity Sante. Juno Eba Hanches Bahayashi na Yobach Ayashti, Do Bayashti, Yo, Ajat Eto, Lesto Yat El Sutaro. Ben Yemni Masando Nichi, to Alok Adi veterans Hanati Aya, to out of the veterans cut elders does lead out a Joba Hiliado Ben Ye, She Yobina Bayashti what Ashishananta, Echo Yat, for allowing me to do that. Akonana did that nurse survey team, the Shinina Kahakia. Adot I see that in has no Adi on Hiliana Ja. Only last Monday, 22nd Yatna. 8 o'clock here. As you know, he would comply with the Navajo Nation's laws. Lini President Nez, Ado Council, all the end he don't need wearing masks and all this. Hoshian he does no none he not tin ade. Evike hanos idon he don't know. He ought Equato nurse and Lini Dasco. Ni Mastando ni Chebasi Ziliego. William had other better dos Nana to Bacho Pai. A coti what beneath the even in Nato, even Naba William of dos Nigi. A coti on Hiliana, Jahan Hiliaiche Nana. I don't need not for Hunich Elia, any Trades ni. Ado a mass gay, but that the Trades ni et on the Yaiche. Upon Hipka employees at visitors than Linita, whereby Chintan da Crema Sando Bache, 8 at 15-minute test and that will require that. Bahas even in Doyahana Dosinta Benye, 1 month ago, Nihiti Haishni, the Masano ni Chela that Zadonan employees o Yihotatza. Akoyoba has Tia Kodobani Bani Chili. Akobacho Pai Benina Equati 15-minute test that is needed then. Ado, as you see the letter that was given to us, Nishe Shehto board member Lini. At a yo kid. She tested up the eye carpet, how lay yo kid without a car. Ako Nishe Dota. Jindan survey based on the vaccination status. Nor as a survey for proof of his or her vaccination status. Le San Francisco did the ka ade to the towns, do airport, do nana akuche. We never know what they got. How do we know they're positive negative until we do the 15-minute test? And the be ahos and yego. Akuya what's that? On hitai what's that? But we really had no choice because unrated oil then we allow them to come in and do that again or survey not a Friday on 26 nakhe. Ako what's that and I quite a young hit at all Navajo law to just Eden along I did you had jail ako the Hidoko hotel. Masando Cheba, William Bassi Tia given where testing na so that then we're not allowed that in it. The here that he be having hit a joke, she sent it out as a card. A down now on seed out the card he provide the leash don't need. The here every day we test. Are they he call us the employees in the hotel. I'm sure Department of Justice has a lot of the agreements, later Or a reminder, so because you see law to protect our people, especially our grandma and grandpas. You see, when you allow me to present to you Monday, a question and I shown that I be tato in thought that in the list, but I don't need. I shown that quite good, and he need caution and I call. I hear though, the kun SSK here, the John Bilson, Asia assistant, because he be retirement, she shot a punchi dan data later the yado, na naslato Kayla Thompson, the Q8 or QI are in the Aja, a could I confess casto. I could and I could hear what I shown, then he got another. I know I could a hush know that. So it always concerns the elders. Yeah, I could ship I shouldn't even when station and I could hear.
Share to Tele, Mr. Wayne Claw, Miss your associates. Share. Committee members. That's the first level of what prompted the need for this follow-up meeting today, this morning. With that, Dr. Jill Jim, are you on the call?
Yes, Shana. Good morning, everyone. I'm on the call.
Okay, I guess what are your thoughts and reactions to the issues brought forth by Mr. Wayne Claw?
Yes, good morning again, Chair, Vice Chair, and HES committee members, Mr. Claw, and others on the call. I do agree with Mr. Claw that the surveyors need to comply with the mask mandate, and there were other information in the letter regarding, I think, COVID testing that they were being asked to do but didn't comply. And I am a member of the CMS Tribal Advisory Group, and I did bring it up to Miss Kitty Marks with CMS and also Miss Susan Carroll yesterday. And they do apologize and would like to make sure that their staff are in compliance with the Navajo Nation public health emergency orders in the future. I did reach out to Navajo Nation Washington office to schedule a meeting, since they suggested a Zoom call with leaders and Mr. Claw, and to discuss that the situation and just sort of reaffirming that they are committed to complying with Navajo Nation public health orders in the future. So I will follow up with Lashana, but I did ask for the meeting to include HES committee members and speaker as well as president, is what Ms. Marks was requesting. So I don't have a date or time, but Ms. Director So with Washington office did confirm that she received the request yesterday. So that is my response, Chair. So they are aware of the situation at their level now, and will pursue in having a Zoom meeting to make sure that, just to reassure that they will follow our orders. So back to you, Chair. Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Jill Jim, Shadeja, good work. Committee members develop some thoughts based on the presentation and then what Dr. Jim has added to the conversation. Michelle Begay Navajo. Your thoughts on this, and I guess originally there was a request to do a letter. How shall we proceed? And again, Ms. Loya Henderson, add to the conversation also. Provide us counsel both from the Department of Justice and from the Office of Chief Legislative Counsel.
Thank you, Chair. This is Michelle Begay-Nakai. Excuse me. Looking at the information that I was provided, it sounds like the surveyors were reluctant to wear the masks when visiting the nursing home, but as you may know, our most recent public health order that was issued by NDOH does continue the mask mandate, especially indoors. It states that all individuals on the nation 2 years of age and older shall wear masks indoors, and then masks are only required outdoors when people are less than 6 feet away from each other. So given that health order applies within the nation, I think one of the questions was, is there an exemption for federal officials? And I did discuss this with Dr. Jim, and we feel like that based on the public health order, there is no exemptions for anyone. So these orders should apply across the nation. However, the other question regarding the facility actually requiring people to take the 15-minute test, the COVID test, that actually is not a requirement under any public health orders. That seems to be a specific requirement to the nursing home itself. And I think this is where we look at that, the CMS, what is this, like the memo, or I'm not sure what it is. It's like a guideline that was provided, I believe, to the nursing home and to the to Mr. Claw. And that's, I guess, is what the CMS is going by in regard to visitation, their recommendations and guidelines in regard to visitation in nursing homes. And there was that section that says the surveyors, let's see, it was circled, regarding long-term care facilities are not permitted to restrict access to surveys based on vaccination status. I guess that is their, the CMS's guideline that they're following. And since it does appear that the testing requirement is just based on the facility itself, I think as a condition, that's not something that's currently required under Navajo, any of the Navajo public emergency health orders. However, because of as Mr. Claw said, because of the people who live in the facility and their elders and maybe may have what do you call it? Maybe more susceptible to catching that. I think we should take that into consideration. But I think with Dr. Jim speaking with CMS, it's better to try to work with the officials and see how we can approach these to make sure that we are not only complying with Navajo orders, as well as, I guess, having the federal officials follow their own guidelines, and as well that we, if the HESI committee wants to still send some type of written letter to these officials, we can do so. We just need to work on what exactly you want to convey in the letter. Dr. Jim, you can step in if I misstated anything or if you have any other recommendations.
No, I don't have any additional comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Nakai, Deja, thank you for providing that information. Ms. Loya Henderson.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. So the only thing that I can add would be that Mr. Law had also indicated that the CMS guidelines do not actually state anything for tribal governments within the guidelines. And what he was saying is that it sounds like they don't take in consideration tribal government orders. And so in that conversation of, that's going to take place with CMS and Jim, that would be another area that might be addressed because in looking at the CMS guidelines, it does state that surveyors are to follow state orders, such as the public health orders, and to be in compliance with it, but it doesn't state specifically tribal government orders. And so that might be an area where there's some clarification or some that could be drawn out in that conversation. Additionally, in that section, it does say that the only reason that you cannot prevent a surveyor from coming in is due to vaccine status, but it doesn't explicitly state that you can't ask for a COVID test or a rapid test. What it says is that if there is a COVID positive test, then the surveyor should not be allowed to do this. And so, more clarification around that might be needed to be addressed. But at this time, if there is a conversation that is going to be scheduled, I would agree with what DOJ also recommended, is that maybe that's where the conversation starts, and HES can be a part of that conversation to address these points that are coming out. And if we still need to do a memorandum, we certainly can, DOJ and Office of Legislative Counsel can work together to provide a memorandum on behalf of HES for HES to provide to CMS. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Henderson. Committee members, your thoughts, comments, and the like.
Delegate Begay.
Oh, Honorable Paul Begay, the chair, you have the floor.
Honorable Chair Daniel So, members of the HESE Committee, and the report given to us by Mr. Wayne Claw, Dr. Jill Jim, for your input. JD Kodod, Wayne Claw, Chicago, Kotego, Edo Nahas Tweed and Lingi, Kotegon, Banson Kesko, Baholia. We often hear that our elders are our treasures. The Quay Datsi, and the beat the Hollow dos, and beat the Hollow dos, others and beat the Hollow. Kotego Ban Seekis. So, you Hashina La Ego Hannet. It's Lago. atinde nishilta hollo ito de yego ba ahuiliango ya ito le bachini bako yoni ningo bendil neko johotego ishin a na ba ahuilian astui leho sani gileko nidi by хаотsi thoughts accessibility to illness either do yego ich haol nida ata huito asa at least ni do yego betsilda kobe betel nako yego betna di na obada hacho bago na has khanla ko eshi akwege ban kisko ikot ego Mr. Cla iya halna aro gisnta nishiki she to lato akot ego iya so kot ego nei na nishiki ikot an sakisle ochenzentle ko di dani mandate dalia chinton heze biketa askitole qatneneki yego bikahunil na reit ote na khanta khahakit ahat da apshinta hannende na sos cheliago da na email da this is our mandate, this is our mandatory protection from the virus. Please abide by dabet ningo da adon da bekedo in koden khahakako yate kot egida da in de so ida ban saki ni she koden an hikeya khad it the yego the net bebe ketani in halle no re keya tingo hita hati so ta ajit naban nada in but egi hachi so they were told to close their vending shops and not to be vending. So that egi da iya ayego be chahat shkedo ayego iya do tata na ko kona re khade dan khanda khage do ye okobeti ni dan hallen ado da an hinde ekot akoda bishmas anni glenki re council chambers kun atlahnit leho she don heze bikes kin hide no atlaje ben heje yati ado dan sa da atlahle ni hodal bikehot na otsigi nalsos na otsningo bakagi aid show proof that of your immunization that dan hit it but egida de nza de khanda khagida okotel they know that they show proof that they were immunized yo hot ego ya to yo ya hodnata hot ego ya khaya hot nakhay gako ba otsila harobet sere bkhon lan chinton ze bkes do les betaw ni ikehol ila so ikhon do les hot ego ana reita shahaz ajat lchi slot canyon ajat o yi tours bandalte slot canyon tours. I know that they follow very strict mandates. Achinto ze because git o hayut chanda khagi tours do ikhotinda. But our business people, the workers there, make sure that they all abide by these mandatory measures. For shafaz and goi and goi ajibnan shadich. For make sure that they're all posted. I building be yahaja rada That's probably the first thing that you see mass required in Chicago. Easily read, but ego, it ingo beke chingo, what elbow cow. Dona kin linda, beke ho in walye, in bold letters. Ila, ni, Behacha, or three na long, what ego beshego, what actually make a hot speed also. Instead of having just a small sign saying that masses are required. Need to make sure that we have those mass required signs in big bold letters so that you can see it. Oh, Idi about this case, Chair, control. Thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Che. Committee members? We're committee. We're at the stage where Dr. Jill Jim has made contact with CMS, and before that, we were at the point of signing on a letter to ask for their cooperation to have their staff comply with Navajo Nation health orders. And now it's pretty much focused on the aspect of wearing a mask and doing a 15-minute COVID test before they enter this one specific facility. So, committee members, your thoughts? So, hearing none, then, Ms.
Sinai.
Just a minute, Mr. Claw.
Okay.
Miss Michelle Nakai, Miss Henderson. Could we then, based on Dr. Jim's response, where she spoke with the CMS leadership and the IHS leadership, could we then craft a letter to those two individuals, and basically the topic of the proposed Zoom meeting would be the compliance or the iteration of, we do have Navajo Nation health orders requiring masks. And then the topic of discussion would be for, in the future, these folks to be CMS visitors, in this case to this one specific elderly care home, that they wear a mask, furnish a vaccination card, and allow for the 15-minute COVID test. Those would be the topics of discussion on the Zoom call, where Director Lashana So is going to basically schedule that Zoom call. But we then craft the letter to CMS in that manner. Mr. Claw.
Okay. Can you hear me again?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, though. I just want to say thank you. Dr. Jill Jim, or Miss Henderson and Miss Nakai. Thanks for your effort. I really think that Jutis Masando Che, do handicaps and Linigia, I really think they should, people should, to get positive results on Nigoya, we need to do these 15-minute tests in location declared nursing home, just to protect our elders. I would just request that. I shown they quite Donana Dr. Jim Henderson and Nakai, please, you're welcome to visit our facility. Please come on out and spend a day with us, and we want to provide it to you so you guys will understand really the type of care we have, the type of care that we provide, and how good our nurses are with the elders. That way we all know that you'll know also that how we operate. Okay, we welcome you for that. Thank you. Yeah, Nana.
Yeah, Tele. Dr. Jim, Miss Begay Nakai, and Miss Henderson. Mask, vaccination card, and 15-minute COVID test before you enter that facility. So, committee members, your thoughts. Proceed with the letter where I outlined those items that we would like to address with the Zoom call with CMS. And that way they can proceed in a manner that is helps in protecting our elderly at the Navajo Land nursing home. Oh, we want a case. If it is, then I'd like to just request that going forward. And then that would be the end of story until we do meet with those individuals. With Ayla.
This is Michelle.
Okay, Honorable Halona. Okay, hang on. Honorable Halona.
Thank you, Chair, and committee members and everybody that's on the line. And thank you, Mr. Clough, for your information. I do agree, Chair, that something does need to be written up and to reinforce our rules and regulations so that anybody that comes to that facility has to abide by our rules and regulations. I don't know how strong Mr. Claw is, but I think, he should have turned them away and let them go speak to their supervisors, and then we could address it then. So just for your information, Mr. Claw, I think you have the right to turn anybody away from that facility that doesn't comply with your rules and regulations. So I just wanted to say, keep on top of it, Mr. Claw, and continue to push that your rules and regulations, because they are several instances where we did have COVID enter some of our facilities, especially over at Winslow, and we lost a lot of elderly. And it only takes one shot, and we have a new virus coming on board again, and so we need to continue to stress that as well with this monkey virus that's going around again. And of course, now we know it's on the res. How fast it will travel, we don't know. I understand there has been one death on this monkey virus as of late, but not near here, I'm glad. But it could get worse. But we just need to continue to control it. And thank you, Mr. Claw, for your work and your assistance in bringing this to our attention. And we support you as far as continuing to keep our elderly safe in your job that you're producing. I thank you, Chair. That's all I have for now.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Helona. Miss Agay Nakai, was that you that wanted also to speak on the issue?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I was just going to say, yes, if you still want to proceed with the letter outlining the topics that you want to discuss at the meeting, we can do that. I'm just not sure how soon the meeting will be scheduled. But if that's how you want to proceed, I can work with Ms. Henderson on something like that.
Thank you. Yes, and the letter would be from the committee and signed by the chair and the vice chair, and just perhaps just these are the topics we want to cover in the Zoom, and we look forward to meeting with them. Would be the thoughts. Thank you. Anybody else want to speak to the issue? If not, then based on that, committee members, could I have a motion and a second to basically proceed and accept the report and then proceed to accepting the recommendation and the drafting of the letter?
Motion,
Committee members. Motion by Honorable Fennell Helona.
Second, that'll give Paul Begay.
Second by Honorable Paul Begay. Any additional thoughts, comments? For that, then let's proceed. Ms. Chi, provide the roll call vote on this motion to accept the report and offer recommendations.
Chair. Motion, roll call vote for accepting the report. Honorable Paul Begay, how do you vote?
Honorable Begay votes green.
Honorable Paul Begay Jr. votes green. Honorable Pernell Helona, how do you vote?
Green.
Honorable Pernell Helona votes green. Excuse me. Honorable Carl R. Slater, how do you vote?
Green.
Honorable Carl R. Slater votes green. Honorable Charlene So, how do you vote?
I vote green.
Honorable Charlene So votes green. Honorable Edison J. Winika, how do you vote? Chair, you have 4 members that vote in favor, 0 opposed, and chair not voting. Chair?
Thank you, Ms. Chi. Committee members, thank you for the vote. And thank you, staff. Ms. Benali, next items on the agenda.
Mr. Chair, the next item on the agenda is number 6, new business, none. 7, old business, none. 8, close the meeting announcements and adjournment and the next meetings. And also, Mr. Chair, for the for the committee's information, I did contact Hunters Point Boarding School. I called the principal, Donald. I also followed up with an email in the afternoon to her. She was in meetings, and as of I believe it was about 3:30, she was in an administrators meeting. But I did follow up with her in an email at that point. So I haven't heard back from Hunters Point Boarding School on some dates that they can propose that the school will be free to, meet and so forth. But as soon as they do, I will forward her email to the HES members.
Thank you, Ms. Benali. So we are at item 8. Any announcements, committee members? So let's proceed with a motion to adjourn. I recognize the motion by Honorable Paul Begay to adjourn. So here's second by Honorable Pernell Halona. Motion to adjourn offers no comments, no debate. Ms. Chi, proceed with the roll call vote.
Chair, motion, roll call vote for adjournment. Honorable Paul Begay Jr., how do you vote? Honorable Paul Begay Jr. votes green. Honorable Pernell Halona, how do you vote?
I'll vote green.
Honorable Pernell Halona votes green. Honorable Carl R. Slater, how do you vote?
Green.
Honorable Carl R. Slater votes green. Honorable Charlene So, how do you vote?
I vote green.
Honorable Charlene So votes green. Honorable Edison J. Wanika, how do you vote? Chair, you have four members in favor, 0 opposed, and Chair not voting.
Okay, thank you. Committee members, we are adjourned at 9:22 a.m. Thank you for your attendance, and I think what we've accomplished is to support the concerns that was expressed by the Navajo Land Nursing Home. And thank you to Dr. George and Ms. Begay-Nakai and Ms. Henderson, and of course, legislative staff. Thank you for helping facilitate the meeting for today. We are adjourned. Everybody be safe, be careful, travel safe. Thank you. Go on that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good one.